Welcome to Passion for the Pastime, where baseball lives 24/7, 365. Catch conversations with beat writers, broadcasters, current and former players of all levels. Now here's your host,
Walter Balsetta. Whoops, I fumbled. I got to get out of here.
Walter Balsetta.
Yo, what's up, everybody, and welcome to Passion for the Pastime here on a Tuesday in February 4th. Right, it is Tuesday. It's been a lot. You guys are gonna hate me right now. A couple minutes late. My apologies. By the way, my girlfriend walks up the stairs and looks at me, and she just stops in her tracks. No hat. So how do you guys like the messy man bun right now? Let me know how you guys are digging that. It's a little crazy, it's a little wild right now, but we're just letting it fly. We're just letting it hang out here on a Tuesday. Welcome on in to Passion for the Pastime. My name is Walter Balsetta, as you guys well know. If you're new to the page, new to the channel, welcome in and welcome to the family. If you are returning, thank you for returning. Rockin' New Era, I see you in here. Pat H as well. I know we'll have a lot of the regulars stopping by in a little bit. I see AJ just stopped by in the YouTube chat as well. We do have the cruise line. Speaking of AJ, we have the cruise line up and running for 925-392-5348 if you guys want to chime in and get involved with the conversation. But yeah, welcome on in, guys. It's been an eventful Tuesday. I'm a couple minutes late. I started with that, and I got away from it. I was sitting. I don't know what the hell was going on, but it's just that kind of day. I went to YouTube and I typed in "Passion for the Pastime," and I'm like sitting there. I'm like, wait. I was waiting for the damn show to start, and I was like, wait, hold on. I was supposed to go to StreamYard and start the stream. So yeah, that's what we're doing here on a Tuesday. But welcome on in, everybody. We're going to talk some Giants baseball. We got into the PECOTA standings a little bit yesterday. We'll talk a little bit more on that if you guys want to dive into that. It just didn't look good for the Giants. And we're going to bring up some trade possibilities. And I don't even know if they're real possibilities, but it's always fun to discuss and kind of look at what a team could potentially be, because last week I was getting ready to do a show, and then everything went down with the car window. And yes, it was real. I talked to Danny Dunn this afternoon. He thought that I was riffing, and no, that actually did happen. So if you guys had any doubts that wasn't a true story, it did happen, and I still believe that Rockin' New Era is the number one suspect in all of that. But yeah, so we'll get into that. But last week, and you guys can definitely chime in on the conversation. Yeah, Rockin' New Era. Breaking news. Dodgers acquire Kevin Durant. I wouldn't be surprised in the least. I would not be surprised in the least. So yeah, man, we got to talk about that. But with all the trade things going down, that kind of sparked a little bit of the conversation, I guess. This was prior to Luka getting traded over the weekend. But I was talking to one of my uncle's friends, but I would consider him a friend of mine as well, Jim Kubinar. Jimmy, known him all my life in a baseball league with him, and he always sends me these trades. And sometimes, I'm like, oh, that's outrageous. But then other times I'm like, I can kind of get down with that. And it kind of just goes back to Bryce Eldridge and where Giants fans, where I currently have Bryce Eldridge in like the level of importance to the organization. Now, do I want to trade Bryce Eldridge? No, I don't. But just the idea that was being pitched in my direction, I kind of sat there and I was like, that sounds like a pretty damn good team for 2025, right? And we all know Bryce Eldridge, what he's going to, or we don't know. I mean, but that's the prospect, right? We know what he is projected to do. I mean, a lot of baseball scouts and people in the know, they're projecting him to be like a 40 home run guy easily when he goes into his prime years, right? So he's 19. I think he's I don't think he's 20 yet. So when you look to Bryce Eldridge, that's kind of what you're looking at. But also, it's a projection. You don't know if he's going to pan out, right? And that's the risk that you take with with prospects. And I mean, you go back and look at the James Shields for Fernando Tatis. It just didn't work out. It didn't work out in the worst way for the Chicago White Sox. And now look at what happens. And I think ever since that happened, there was a lot of hesitancy on trading prospects. Dodgers have no problem doing that. They just ship. I mean, remember No, not Mackenzie Gore. It was Josiah Gray, right? He was part of that Trey Turner and Max Scherzer deal, and we were like, oh my god! And then they had that good catcher that was there, which I think he's still pretty decent. But he's not, near like Austin Barnes, or not Austin Barnes, Will Smith, right? The baseball player, not the actor. But yeah, so it's just a little interesting when you go and everyone has a different idea of prospects. So we'll get into that. There was a trade that Jim Kubinar threw my way, and we'll discuss. I want you guys to get involved in it as well. So it's going to be a fun episode today on Passion for the Pastime. And let's get on out to the YouTube chat. Say hello to everybody. I know I saw a Rockin' New Era in here lighting up the chat line. Heyo, what's up, Rockin' New Era? How you doing, man? Yeah, we meet again for sure. Let's see what else is going on here. If it's free, it's for me. Hell yeah, that's in reference to the contest giveaway. I did tell you guys that I'm gonna have a giveaway, and we're kind of in the works of making this happen. But what I have to do is I need you guys to send an email. I'll go ahead and put it in the chat line. I need you guys to send me an email to verify that you are subscribed to the channel. Just a little screenshot. That's all you need. And send an email to passionforthepastime@gmail.com. Go ahead and send me that, and that will submit you into a random giveaway, or a random draw rather, and we'll do it live here on the show. We'll allow everyone to have a little bit of time to get involved and to get submitted. So I'll give them until the start of spring training. So we have plenty of time to do that. But you guys go ahead and shoot me an email. I'll put it here in the YouTube chat really quick. It is passionforthepastime @gmail.com. And you guys are going to want to have to send me a screenshot of you subscribing to the channel, and obviously let me know your name and all that kind of stuff, and we'll get you those Giants tickets, because I do want to do that, because we hit 100 subscribers a couple of weeks ago. I think it was 2 weeks ago to this Thursday, I believe, is when we hit 200 subscribers, or 100 subscribers. 200. Oh my God, I'd be over the moon if we hit 200. But yeah, no. So you guys can go ahead and do that. Get situated. Let's get you submitted for that giveaway that we'll be doing at a later date. I just got to get everybody's information in there. And like I said, we'll do it before the first game of spring training, because we got everybody going to Arizona. Pitchers and catchers reporting next Wednesday, a week from tomorrow. And the first game for the Giants is the 22nd. So we'll do the giveaway officially. We'll do it on the, let's see, we'll do it on the 20th. We'll do it on 420. Is that what we're doing? We're doing a giveaway on 420. You guys trust me to accurately do that? 420. Oh, I'm sorry, it's not 420. That's April. No, we're 220. Excuse me, I got too excited. Saw the 20 on there. 220 in February. That's when we'll be doing it, on that Thursday before the first games in Arizona. So you guys remember to go ahead and hit me with that email. I'll be checking them all week long up until we get to that. I'll submit everybody in there, put the names into like a little wheel. I'll put it up here. I'll show that you have your name in there, and I'll hit a button. It'll randomize, and then we'll have a winner. So 2 tickets. It's a pair of tickets for the Giants games at a later date, but you will be locked in for that pair of tickets. So what's up, everybody? Welcome back to Passion for the Pastimes. Let's get back out to the YouTube chat. AJ, yeah, dude, yeah, appreciate it. Slap on a hat, Walter. You know my answer. Yeah, you know what? It's I'm just gonna be defiant now. I'm just gonna be defiant. I'm just gonna let it flow. I'm gonna let it flow. I have a haircut, by the way, tomorrow. That is not an excuse. I will be here to do the show at 6 o'clock. We will be on time. I scheduled it to have plenty of time to get the haircut and be back home in time for Passion for the Pastime. And we'll have Greg Silver on tomorrow. We'll talk about the NBA trade deadline, but we'll also talk some Giants ball as well, get his thoughts on the season upcoming. Let's see here. Walter is his biggest fan. Well, yeah, nobody's going to cheer for you more than yourself. So thank you for acknowledging that, AJ. Really appreciate it. Tacky, there it is at 6:06. Really appreciate it for that comment as well. Rockin' did Walter dirty. Yeah, you guys are still in on that situation. Let's see here. Damn, Walter already giving away things. Yeah, man, I'm doing that. I'm doing that for you guys. Go ahead and do that and submit your entry, if you will, to the sweepstakes, to the giveaway. 2 Giants tickets. We'll get a date locked in. It'll most likely be during the week. But we'll try to get you the best option available there. But yes, we are doing tickets. Hell yeah, AJ. We are doing that for sure. What's the email for Tacky? Just to let you know, the email is for you guys to send me an email to submit for a chance to win the 2 tickets that I'm going to be giving away. Since we hit 100 subscribers, I want to give back to the community. So we're going to do 2 tickets for the San Francisco Giants regular season game. And you send me an email with a screenshot of you subscribing to the channel, and we'll go from there. So yeah, definitely go ahead and shoot me an email. Give me your name. You can give last name, initial. It doesn't have to be a full official thing. I just need to acknowledge and recognize who I'm speaking with before we go ahead and make that official. Greg Silver in here. Let's see. What did Greg Silver say? Not Greg Silver. Can't stand that young punk. Yeah, that's he read my mind. He read my mind for sure. Now, what's up, Greg? Good to see you in here. He's going to be in here tomorrow. We're going to talk some Giants baseball. We're also going to dive into some Warriors basketball because it's very intriguing to see what the hell's going on with Kevin Durant. I don't know the latest. I haven't been keeping up to date. But just the fact that the Warriors are looking at bringing back Kevin Durant, it does get me a little bit excited. I heard AJ earlier on Dirty Work called in. He does not want that to happen. He doesn't want them to mortgage the future. And we talked about that a little bit last night as well. So we'll definitely get into that with Greg Silver tomorrow. So yeah, let's see. Rockin' New Era just sent the email. Dude, appreciate it. Entry has been completed. Tacky, yeah, you fuck with Greg Silver. Hell yeah, dude. Let's see here. Opinionated podcast. Learn a few things from how Walter does business. Hey man, I'm a man of the people. I am a man of the people. I know what you guys want. I know what I want. So yeah, I'm definitely here to give it back to you guys. Walter passing up, just my opinion, man. No chance. That's a staple in everyone's heart right now. So yeah, Mike Val, if you missed out, dude, good to see you in here in the YouTube chat. But just in case if you did miss out, Mike, we are doing that giveaway. It won't be today. I'm trying to get everybody submitted before the 20th. That's when we're going to be doing it. The giveaway will be February 20th for 2 tickets to a Giants game in the regular season. All you have to do is send a screenshot of your subscription and let me know like your information, your first name, preferably last name, initial. That's all you need. But a screenshot, send it to passionforthepastime@gmail.com. If you guys need any more of that information, feel free to hit me up. You see my Twitter. Hit me up on the DMs at Walleezy, WALLEEZZY, and we'll get you guys those tickets for sure. Are they near John Miller, or are they next to John Miller? They could potentially. I don't know. You have to roll the dice. You have to roll the dice and see where those tickets are, because you never know what Pastime has in store. But welcome on in, everybody. It's been a not an eventful Tuesday per se in the baseball world. What I did see was that the MLB The Show 25. I saw that they released their trailer, because I was looking actually at what time that video game or what day that video game comes out. It comes out so late. I hate like before. I swear to God, didn't baseball games used to come out like right when spring training started? Like, am I far off on that? Like was that years ago? Like, I don't know, man. Like, I felt like baseball games used to come out well in advance of spring training, or maybe I'm mixing it up with Madden. I have no idea. But I saw the release date is like March 18th or something like that. And actually, now that I think about it, I think the like second week of March is right about where like the show and baseball games previously used to be released. But come on, can't we release it like right after the Super Bowl? You know what I mean? Like, now after the Super Bowl, everybody's pivoting to baseball. Everybody's getting locked in. Pitchers and catchers are reporting literally the week that week right after the Super Bowl. Why can't we get some baseball games be released at that point? But yeah, let's. I was looking at that, and you know, obviously, I've been playing with a little bit of things, and you guys can see the capability of what we have here. Oh wow, I didn't even have the background. There it is. But you guys have seen the capability of what we're able to do here on the podcast. So what I'm gonna do eventually, I'm gonna bring MLB The Show to the podcast. We're gonna be talking some ball. We're gonna be looking at we might be doing like some simulations. I don't know, because the Dakota standings, they kind of piss us all off, right? I mean, looking at 78 wins for the San Francisco Giants, I thought that was a little bit low. But then also, like, how can you like retort that? Like, how can you fight against 78 wins? Because let's face it, they won 80 games last year, 80 and 82. And the Giants, I mean, has their offense gotten better? I would say no. And I feel like there's a lot more question marks going into this season, because I guess at least you had a little bit of not a sure thing, but you kind of knew what you were getting with Michael Conforto, right? I mean, you kind of knew what you were getting in that aspect. You kind of, I guess, not necessarily, but you knew what you were getting out of Matt Chapman. You still kind of know what you're going to get out of Matt Chapman, but it's going to be really interesting to see how the Giants can generate some runs, because I don't know if their offense is better than it was a year ago. I think that it's more athletic, but unless you're stealing bases and unless you're stretching a single into a double or a double into a triple, I don't know how effective that athleticism is going to be for the Giants. So I don't know. I mean, there's going to be a lot of adjustment to this new Giants team, but I say new because a lot of the same guys are here. Like, a lot of the lineup is pretty much almost verbatim without the addition of Willy Adames. The lineup is pretty much the same damn lineup that was out there last year. So again, 78, it seems a little low, but then also looking at the pitching staff as well, and I felt much more comfortable with the pitching staff that they had last year with Blake Snell, with Logan Webb. I mean, now you don't really have the backup, if you will, to a Logan Webb, right? I mean, Justin Verlander, it's a great signing. I know a lot of people are out there looking at Kyle Harrison as to 2025 could potentially be his breakout season. Well, I mean, the jury's still out. We have to see what Kyle Harrison can end up doing and what he can end up becoming. So it's going to be really interesting to follow around this Giants team going into 2025 season for sure. It's going to be really interesting indeed. But let's go ahead and check out the YouTube chat. I am going to bring MLB The Show onto the show, or onto the podcast. We'll have to see in what type of capacity that we're going to be doing. But I've been playing around with a few things, just making sure that it all works, because I have MLB The Show 24, of course, because my guy Vlad Jr. He was on the cover, so I had to get that one. I got to go find it, but I still have MLB 2K9. That was the one with Tim Lincecum on the cover. I still have that case somewhere in my closet. I got to go find it. But yeah, man, baseball games, it's a lot of fun. And which, by the way, I was watching Jumanji, yesterday, and then I had this thought in my head, because it seems like a cool game to like jump into, right? Like what game would you want to, be like fully immersed? Is the overwhelming majority like Grand Theft Auto. I know Rockin' is Grand Theft Auto for sure, because he does that in real life. Shout out my window. But if you had to be in a video game, just side tangent. If you had to be in a video game, what video game would it be? Let us know in the YouTube chat. But let's go back. Let's go back out again. When I was rolling the dice, don't roll the dice. Don't roll the dice with your hand again. Okay, thank you. I appreciate it. Appreciate it, Rockin'. Let's see here. MLB The Show, you can avoid tags now. What do you mean? What do you mean you can avoid tags now? Oh, you could like literal tags? Like sliding into really? That's kind of cool. I know a lot of people were kind of pissed off at it because it's kind of gone down the route of Madden and the NBA 2K series, right? It's kind of gone down that route to where it's just the same graphics and it's just updated rosters. Which you go back to Derek. Derek does not get the new game. He just updates rosters, which I would love to do in MLB The Show. I don't think that you have the capability to do that. I'd have to go look. I don't think that you have the capability to upload rosters for sure. Let's see. You could already. Am I missing something? You could avoid Actually, you know what? Yeah, you could. Tacky's onto something, because I remember every time that I played Copes, and I thought I figured it out. Maybe I forgot because I haven't played the show in quite some time. Every time that I would play Copes, the ball would beat him by like 2 seconds, and he would somehow still get in safe, and it would piss me off to no end. So yes, Tacky, you know what? You just jogged a painful memory in my memory banks. Yeah, I think that is a thing. Let's see here. It's rocking. I haven't played a baseball game since 2006. Yeah, you know what was funny was that a lot of people were ripping MLB The Show. Sorry, before we get into some Giants talk, everybody was ripping MLB The Show for their trailer because, again, like it's just the updated rosters. It's the same graphics, but then they add like they add certain different things, right, to each game. I know a couple of games ago they had the Negro Leagues. They used to have some of the players from the past that you could play with, and like Cool Papa Bell and Satchel Paige and all those guys. You would be able to play like certain levels, I guess, with them to get certain types of awards. That was a couple of years ago. I want to say that was 2021 maybe. I can't remember exactly what year it was, but I want to say it was 21. I think that's when I was playing the show. Maybe it was 22 actually. Maybe it was 22. I can't remember exactly. But yeah, so that was the big thing there, and then the last version, which I believe was 24, maybe it was 23. They had it to where you can play. No, it was 23, I believe. 23, you can play as a two-way player, right? That you can play as a two-way player because of Shohei Ohtani. Obviously, that was all the rage, right? And then the Giants kept drafting like Reggie Crawford and Bryce Eldridge, who we'll talk about here in a little bit. They kept drafting two-way players, so that was the big thing in that you can be a two-way player in that video game. And then I believe last year they made it to where you can play as a female. You can be either male or female and play in the game. So that was the big change there. Now they've taken it a step further in that you can play. You played like through amateur ranks, like you play in high school and you go to college. Like that's kind of cool. But then, like, I mean, what else are they gonna do? Like, how do you evolve that? Like, do you start playing in t-ball? Like do you go to the Junior Giants field and start playing baseball? Like, I don't know. I mean, it's kind of cool. Like the high school aspect of it with the aluminum bats, which, by the way, oh my God, I hate that sound. I don't know if you guys are like that. I mean, the crack of the bat, like the wood, right? I mean, that is a beautiful sound in and of itself. I don't know what my favorite sound of spring is. I want to let you guys get in on that conversation a little bit. Is it the cleats clicking on the concrete, like when you're walking over to the diamond? Like, is that the best? Like that might be one of the most satisfying sounds in my opinion. but obviously like the go-tos are the crack of the bat, right? Like that's when you know. But then the pop of the mitt is also a very underrated sound of baseball. I remember that there was this one guy, this lemonade guy in Arizona, and I don't know if he had passed away recently. I thought he did because I thought I saw a story on it, and I told my girlfriend, and we were kind of sad because our first trip to Arizona was lemonade like grandma made. That's how he would sell the lemonade. He was a lemonade guy in Arizona. And I want to say he passed away a couple of years ago, but that was like one of the cool things, like just to hear vendors like, ice cold beer, popcorn, like, you know what I mean? Like it's just the sounds of baseball. So what would be your guys' favorite sounds of baseball going into the summer? Mine, I think like it's always been crack of the bat. It's like the pop of the mitt. I mean, those are classic, but now that I think about it, just going back to like my youth and playing baseball, it's walking from the parking lot to the dirt patch that you're playing on, and you have the click. I don't know if you guys can hear this, but you have the clicking of the cleats on the concrete. That might be the sound for me. So let me know in the YouTube chat for sure. But yeah, the aluminum. Oh my God, I was watching the trailer from MLB The Show, and they introduced the high school ranks, and it was the aluminum pop, and I had my headphones in, and I was like, I had to turn it off because I was like, oh dude, I can't continue to hear that over and over. It was bad. That might be one of the worst sounds for me, and that's just me. Let me know in the YouTube chat. I'll go back out to you guys. Let's see what else is out there. Rocket New Era, yeah, talking about the slides, avoiding the tags. Yeah, dude, that's legit a thing. It definitely was. Tacky is right on that. But let's see what else here. Pat H chiming in on the covers, I believe. I have a MLB 2006 with Vlad Sr. on the cover for PS2. That's the newest console game I got. Oh, dude, come on, man. So you guys don't even know what the hell I'm talking about when I'm talking about, I just saw Rocket. Dude, you know what I was going to do? I didn't do it. God, man, those GIFs, let me know if I'm saying it right. What you were sending me on X and the DMs, dude, I was rolling. I was dying literally when you were sending me those things this morning with the Street Fighter in the level with the car. That was hilarious, man. You really brought up my morning when I saw that for sure. Walter E. Honda, very good, very nice. You guys are hilarious. Derek is cheap. Yes, he is. Not cheaper. Who's cheaper, Derek or Mike Holler? You guys heard the story with Huey last night with Mike Holler sharing the Netflix password, which, by the way, I mean, it's not a big deal, right? It's not a big. We all share passwords. We're all just password swapping. That's what we do. That's America, baby. That's what we do. Come on, man. Let's see here. They fixed the stupid seasons thing in Diamond Dynasty. Explain, Tacky. Explain. What did they do? They fixed the seasons. Yeah, explain that to me, because again, I used to play Diamond Dynasty a lot in 23. I didn't really play too much in 24. Me and Copes used to freaking stay up until midnight every night 2 years ago when we were playing the show. I gotta get back on that. I gotta hit up Copes, and maybe I'll stream one of these games so you guys can see me tap that ass of Copes when we're playing MLB The Show. Let's see here. Let's see what else we got going on here. Walter gets all the trophies. You guys are crazy. Let's see. Let's see. He really. What? What are you guys talking about? Let's see here. Walter is all about that. He's still maybe. Oh, I think he spelled Pisco wrong, but I get what you're saying. I get what you're saying, Rockin'. Let's see what else here. Tacky chiming in. Favorite sound is okay. All right. Thanks, Tacky, Appreciate you. You better watch out, Rockin'. What did AJ say? Better watch out, Rockin'. Walter isn't gonna let the wannabes deal with you. Oh man, dude. Yeah, I'm gonna put a hit squad out. Yeah, for sure. Let's see. I like the sound of beer carts at the Berryessa flea market and coming to find you. I do like the sound of a ice cold beer being cracked open when you're watching a baseball game. I do like that sound for sure. Can't spell Peru without you. That is factual. That is factual. Thank you for shouting out my roots, Rockin'. Really appreciate you. Let's see what else we got going on here. Throwing up sets now. Do we have like a turf beef going on in YouTube right now? What the hell are you guys doing? I need Walter's gamer tag so he can flake on playing Diamond Dynasty with me. Funny thing. I don't know, Tacky, do you have PlayStation or do you have Xbox? Regardless, because it is cross-platform now. My gamer tag is the same as my Twitter handle. It is Walleasy. I believe it's actually Walleasy. I think there's a 415 on the back end of that. But yeah, dude, hit me up. We'll I will gladly flake on playing a Diamond Dynasty game with you anytime, dude. Any day of the week. Just name it. Let me know. Let's see what else we got going on here. Let's catch up to the what did Tacky just say? Damn, he's reading these before he puts them on the screen. Yeah, dude, you guys are keeping me on my toes. You guys are definitely keeping me on my toes now. Gotta fact check these before I throw them on there. Okay, PlayStation. Yeah, dude, hit me up because it's cross platform. And you know, if you got GTA, you want to roll on GTA. That's also a fun thing to do. Machu Picchu is a place to see. I think that's what you were referring to. I got you on the Machu Picchu place to see. I have not actually been there. Mike, have you been there? Been to Machu Picchu? I have not been there. But anyways, so we're talking about video games. MLB The Show. Hit me up on there. I got an Xbox, but it's cross platform, so we could do something, and we'll bring it to the podcast for sure at some point. But we have spent 35 minutes talking about video games, talking about just random things. But let's get on into the trade of the century. All right, I'm gonna go ahead and bring up my which, by the way, Jim Kumar, shout out Jimmy. He hit me up. He sends me all these news articles all the time, and he hits me up and says because Randall Grichuk signed with the Diamondbacks, and I just texted him back because I mean it's Randall Grichuk, like okay, like you know he's bad, but then I hit him up. I was like, dude, Farhan messed us up to the point that we're getting mad about the Giants not getting Randall Grichuk. like, dude, he has set us back mentally. Like, it's just PTSD at this point with all these signings. But no, let's go to the trade proposal. And I think I might change a little bit on my initial response because when it was presented to me, I was like, yeah, dude, like I would make that trade. I would potentially make that happen, but I don't know if I'm willing to go this route yet. So, okay. So here's what it is. It's would you trade Bryce Eldridge? We were talking about Bryce Eldridge earlier. You got your Dreamcast still? You know what? Shout out my sister. I think my sister still has our second Dreamcast for sure. We used to play Crazy Taxi. We used to play that game. That was one of my favorite games on Dreamcast. But anyways, I digress. Would you trade Bryce Eldridge? I'm opening this up to the cruise line. I'm opening this up to the YouTube chat. Whatever you guys want to get involved. However you guys want to answer this question. But would you trade Bryce Eldridge if it meant that the Giants would also get not fully in return, but this would be a part of your team moving forward? Luis Robert, because we heard about Luis Robert being shopped around for the Chicago White Sox. It's still potential that he gets moved. But if it meant having Luis Robert, Pete Alonso, and Luis Castillo, right? And initially when you hear that, it's like, okay, I mean, that's not necessarily a real situation, but let's just play through it. Let's just play through it because I think it's really interesting because when I first read it, I was just like, oh, dude, like that's not going to, there's no chance because you would have to have Bryce Eldridge in a deal for Luis Robert, and I think that you would have to have Bryce Eldridge in a deal to get Luis Castillo. So right off the rip, I mean, the trade is already null and void. You can only get one of those guys, but let's just play through it. If I'm willing to trade and part with Bryce Eldridge, I would say that if it was one, it would be Luis Robert that I would be more likely to trade for than Luis Castillo. Being that, I mean, Robert, I believe, is younger than Luis Castillo because Castillo, I believe, is at 32 years old, right? Is that where Luis Castillo is at? And then Luis Robert is younger and he has more years of control. I believe that the White Sox bought out his final years of arbitration. So you have him under years of control. I believe if you were to trade for him now, I think you'd have him through 2027. I have to go back and look at the contract for Luis Robert, but I believe you'd have him through 2027. So that's good. I mean, you get him for 3 seasons, right? You get him for 3 seasons. It's a controllable bat, is a proven bat in Major League Baseball. And then if Pete Alonso was going to be along the ride as well, that's why you would trade Bryce Eldridge. Now, again, I'm not advocating for this to happen, but he goes on further. It says trade Bryce Eldridge for Luis Robert. Okay, I can see that happening. Some type of package if you were to do that, and sign Pete Alonso to a 3-year deal, no opt out, and then trade Luciano and a couple of other young prospects for Castillo. Now, the thing that we've talked about before on Passion for the Pastime, what we talked about in the past was the Mariners. The only way that they trade Luis Castillo is if they get proven bats at the major league level. Now, I know Luciano has better, better appearances at the plate than he does with being in the field, right? We all know that he's a better hitter than he is defensively. But I don't know if that is like the crown jewel of the trade. I don't think that gets it done because the Mariners are in a situation that they want to compete now and they need offense now. We were talking about the Bakota standings yesterday, and essentially, you look at the Mariners, and their offense was barely ranked a little bit higher than the Giants. I mean, that's just a little telling as far as how badly they need offense for the Mariners in that division. Yeah, their runs scored, what we have right now for Bakota, and depending on how trustworthy or how accurate you think that Bakota standings are, but the Mariners right now are at 671 for runs scored. You go and look at the Giants. The Giants are behind them, so they're worse than the Mariners, but they're at 663, right? So you can kind of look at how that offense is kind of constructed. I mean, they're only better than by runs scored. They're only better than the A's in their own division, right? So we all know what the price would be for Luis Castillo, that they would need some offense to come back in that trade. Now, is that Lamont Wade Jr.? Is that Mike Yastrzemski? I mean, yeah, but you'd have to entice them with some type of crown jewel, and I would think that Bryce Eldridge would be that person involved in that trade, but then you're not getting Luis Robert. And again, I mean, this is all predicated on the Giants spending and getting Pete Alonso. I think that is not going to happen, but we're just playing in fantasy land right now, right? So you look at that and just imagine if this was to happen. And I think this was the point of the text, was you look at around the diamond, and this is, I would say, this is a much, much better team, a much more fun team to watch if they were able to pull this off. So you got at catcher, you got Patrick Bailey. At first base, Pete Alonso. Second base, Tyler Fitzgerald. shortstop Willie Adames, third base Matt Chapman. You got Ramos in left, Jung-Hoo Lee in center, and Luis Robert in right. That looks like a much better offense than it did a year ago. And then he put Matos with a question mark at the DH. Maybe it's Matos, maybe it's Gerard Encarnacion, depending on what the trade compensation would be to get those guys. Now, you look at the starting pitching, and the pitching just looks a lot better than what it was a year ago if you were to add Luis Castillo. So then you have Logan Webb, you have Luis Castillo, you have Robbie Ray, Justin Verlander, and Kyle Harrison. Then the question is, well, where's Hayden Birdsong? Where's Jordan Hicks? I would assume that maybe Hayden Birdsong would be involved in a trade in acquiring a Luis Castillo or a Luis Robert. I would think that would have to happen if you have Kyle Harrison still on this team. And then the high leverage relievers, I guess, would be Ryan Walker, Jordan Hicks, he's going to be there, and then Camilo Doval. It would be a fun team to watch, but I don't think that's happening. I would love to see that happen. I would love to see that type of team, but I think that this is the team that the Giants are going to roll with going into spring training, and maybe there's something else that happens with the Giants. Maybe there's some type of trade that happens. I'm not necessarily ruling out the possibility of Luis Robert, but again, like what pieces are you willing to part with? Because I think that everyone that is going to be in conversations with the Giants, everyone is going to call and ask about Bryce Eldridge because he has that high of a ceiling. He has that high of praise from Major League scouts. I mean, to at age 19 to be touted as being a 40 home run, like potential to be a 40 home run guy year in and year out, and you're factoring in this ballpark, that is crazy. That is insane. So now, again, I wasn't saying that I wanted to trade Bryce Eldridge, but this is kind of the way of thinking. If you wanted to get these type of guys, you have to, the same thing with KD. You have to give something to get something. You're not going to get KD on the Warriors if you don't part with Andrew Wiggins, if you don't part with Draymond Green. Like, these are the guys that you're going to be looking at if you don't part with Jonathan Kuminga. I'm not saying it's going to take all three of those guys, but at least 1 to 2 of those guys are going to have to be included in that package, right? So you kind of see, and the Warriors are in a way different time window, a way different window of their franchise than the Giants are. Giants are in a window of player development, of growing the farm system, of growing this team from the ground up, and trading away a Bryce Eldridge, I think, is going in the opposite direction, right? Because I don't think a Luis Castillo or a Luis Robert, because again, Pete Alonso wouldn't be coming here. I don't see that have being a possibility. I think that's the only reason that you would even entertain a trade of Bryce Eldridge. But like we've said before in the past, I mean, it's fun to think about. It's fun to look at that roster, and I'm like, damn, dude, like that does sound like a team that I would want to watch year in and year out. So it's just really interesting to kind of look at that. But the Giants aren't like the Warriors in that one move can take you from mediocrity to being a championship contender. Like baseball just doesn't operate in that same fashion as basketball, because basketball, you get two superstars on the court together and they can wreak havoc. They can take over a game. And that's the type of guys that you have with Steph Curry, and that's the type of guys that you would have with Kevin Durant. It's not the same way in baseball. And I do think that if there was a trade to be included, I mean, are we okay with parting with Carson Whisenhunt? Are we okay with parting with Marco Luciano? Are you okay with parting with Luis Matos? Like, I mean, those are the type of guys that you're kind of looking at. Obviously, like Casey Schmidt, Tristan Beck, Mason Black, they have value, but I don't know if they have bag you Luis Robert type value. You know what I mean? So again, you have to give something to get something, and I think that's something that everyone would be inquiring on for the Giants is Bryce Eldridge, and I don't think that they want to part ways with him. I mean, we were talking about it yesterday, with JT Snow going to camp. That is a huge sign for the Giants in investing in this young talent and trying to grow his game and trying to help him out defensively and find any way possible, because it's going to be really interesting if he does have a strong spring. I don't think that we've talked about that enough here on the podcast, is that you're looking at that hole, because we know where the holes are. We know where the holes are. We know where the upgrades are for the San Francisco Giants. It is in the outfield, in particular to right field. They could use a DH, but Giants still, to this day, I mean, the DH has been in National League for how long, and they still haven't figured that out. And they're just going to keep plugging and playing. They don't have a masher. That's just not what they have. But then you look to, I mean, could Bryce Eldridge be that masher if he tears it up and then he learns first base on the fly? Like I don't know, man. Like that's something, because you look at, again, we were talking about right field. That's an area of need, and that's why you look to Luis Robert, right? It makes sense. But you look to first base, and it's going to be a platoon with Lamont Wade Jr. and with Wilmer Flores. Bryce Eldridge could already be an offensive upgrade at this current stage of his development than those guys are combined. And that has to be, at the forefront of the thinking of the Giants when compiling this roster. But also, FP was on last night, and I believe he went on with Foul Territory, and he was talking with AJ Przinsky, everybody's favorite Giant. AJ Przinsky on Foul Territory, and FP was talking about Bryce Eldridge, and he has a lot of power, and he was in Washington prior to coming back out west. He was in Washington as their game analyst, and he mentioned he saw Bryce Harper get called up at 19. He saw Juan Soto get called up at 19. Now, who's to say that Bryce Eldridge doesn't get that similar opportunity? But you have to be very careful. Like, that's something that FP was talking about, and I think that we all realize you have to be very careful when doing that, because if you call them up too early, you can set back their development by years, and you could even screw them up entirely. So you got to find out what type of mental fortitude that Bryce Eldridge does have, and how quick he can pick up a glove, how quick he can adjust to being an everyday first baseman and learn to be not a defensive wizard, but be serviceable at first base. So again, if he goes in there and he hits like 7, 8, 9 bombs in spring training, and he's hitting like 450, I'm not going to say that's going to happen. If he's hitting 400, I'm not going to say that's going to happen, but there is a slight chance, especially in Scottsdale, with how the ball just flies out of all the ballparks out there with the hot weather. There is a small chance that he does do that. Do you want the Giants to then give him the opportunity and start him at 19? That's going to be the big question going into that. But I think with me talking about Bryce Eldridge and the upside to him, I think you can kind of see where my thought process is on Bryce Eldridge. I'm not willing to trade him. I mean, but again, is he the real deal? Like, is he somebody that is going to be that 40 home run hitter for the Giants and for years to come? I mean, God, man, that sounds so good, because we haven't had a 30. We're talking 40. We haven't had a guy hit 30 since Barry Bonds. I mean, we're getting excited about 30 with possibly Elliot Ramos and possibly Willie Adames. You're talking 40, and this guy's 19 and hasn't even played in Major League Baseball. I would love to see that happen, and happen sooner rather than later. But again, I mean, how often have we had that that player in the Giants farm system. I mean, you guys remember Gary Brown, right? You remember Gary Brown. I mean, Brandon Belt was a serviceable first baseman and a great hitter, but he wasn't the power threat that he was anticipated to be. I mean, he was expected. I mean, they were talking about him when he was coming up through the system. They were talking about he was going to be a 30 home run guy every year. You know what I mean? They were kind of talking about him in a lesser form of what Bryce Eldridge is, right? So does Bryce Eldridge turn into to be a Brandon Belt type? I'm not saying that that's a bad thing, but again, you just don't know with these prospects. You don't know what the future holds for them, and God forbid any type of injury happen or anything like that in their development. But the big question is, if he goes to spring training and he balls out, and there is a chance that he can do that because we saw what he was doing in Single A in San Jose. We saw what he was doing for a brief stint in Richmond, and what he could do in AAA. I mean, he went up through those ranks. Obviously, AAA was a different a different situation because I wouldn't say that he didn't earn the call up, but that was a call up so that he can get more at bats to get more experience. I don't think he's going to start the year in AAA unless, again, he balls out and they think that he's that close. But I think that for development purposes, it would be better served if he was in Richmond, if he was in AA, unless he's going to be, getting a mentorship and taking the reins at first base. So again, you don't know how good this guy is going to be, but you get excited about hearing how these scouts around Major League Baseball are talking about him. So let me go out to the YouTube chat really quick before I get on out of here. I know we talked for 2 hours yesterday. I'm not going to do that tonight. I'm going to end the show here momentarily. But Lori Galvin chiming in, no on trading Eldridge. Yeah, I think that's the consensus once we go through here. Let's see what else. Rockin', nah, I'd keep Eldridge. Yeah, I agree with that too. Let's see. So funny. People trying to trade Bryce, probably never seen him play. I think a lot of people haven't seen Bryce Eldridge play. I think that's consensus, unless you went out and was watching him in San Jose. And even then, I mean, you're going to make a determination and a statement that this guy is the best player since Barry Bonds, hitting wise or whatever. Obviously, they're not talking about him in that light, but I mean, you're gonna base that off of 2 times that you've seen him in San Jose, like that's again, it's prospects. Like, you don't know how good these guys are going to be. Pat H chiming in on the conversation. I'm sticking with Eldridge. I love Robert as a player, but he has a ton of injuries. Yeah, that's true too. I mean, that is the risk that you do run with Luis Robert. He does have a lot of injury history, so that is something that you have to pay attention to. Let's see, Rockin' New Era. Yeah, that's not true. The Red Sox gave away Mookie for nobody. I don't even know if I can name the guys that were included in that trade. I think a lot of people can't. But yeah, man, that trade, that Mookie deal was like damn near what happened. Why is it always LA? Why is it always LA? Like Mookie getting traded to the Dodgers was literally Luka getting traded to the Lakers. I'm just like, why is it always them? Why is it always them? Sorry, I'm getting off on a tangent. I'm gonna get on out of here. Pat H chiming in one more time. Trading Eldridge when the farm system isn't stocked with other good power prospects doesn't seem worth it. Yeah, that's the other thing, is that he is the crown jewel of the Giants farm system right now, and they don't have a lot of position players that kind of fit that mold. He is the one and only guy that you're talking about. Like, we're talking about him right now. He might be the only guy that is worth a damn when it comes to being a position player and making it in Major League Baseball. I mean, right now they have a lot of fringe guys that are like, oh, if they can put it together, if they could do this and they could do that. Bryce Eldridge, I mean, his biggest problem right now is his glove, and you hope that doesn't translate over to his bat. But they're, again, projections is that he can hit 40 home runs, man. I just don't know what happened. Yeah, there we go. Verdugo was a highly regarded prospect. That's what happens, man. A lot of guys are highly touted prospects, and they never pan out. That's why baseball, I would say baseball is probably the hardest sport to draft in, because all these other leagues, I mean, NFL doesn't necessarily have a developmental league, but you have college football. Like, that is, I guess, the closest thing to a competitive atmosphere that you can get with the NFL. Basketball, they have the G League. But I mean, for the most part, they're drafting guys that are going to make an impact like right then and there. Like, if it's not in a year, it's in a year or two, right? Or if it's not that season, it's in a year or two when it comes to basketball. And then when you look to baseball, like, you get a guy that's drafted, like Tibbs, that got drafted last year with the Giants. What was the other guy's name? Was it Dakota Tibbs? No, was it James Tibbs? James Tibbs and Dakota, was it Dakota Johnson? I'm trying to remember the draft picks for the Giants. But regardless, the guys that got drafted last year, I mean, when do you expect to see them? When do you expect to see them in Major League Baseball? It's going to take time, and that's why there's so much time from the time that you're drafted to the time that you make it to the show. There's a lot of time. There's a lot of things that can go wrong within that time frame. And sometimes, guys just, they reach a peak. They peak too early. They reach a peak in college. They reach a peak at AA, at AAA. They reach a peak at single A, and they don't make it past rookie ball. Like, I mean, there's so many variables that come into play with baseball that I think that's why it makes it so hard for guys to make it in Major League Baseball, even after being highly touted. So I'm gonna let you guys go really quick. Let's see here. What? Hold on, Mike Valta. Who was the guy from the Yankees? They compared him to Clemente. Ruben something. Man, I don't know. Oh yeah, Dakota Jordan, James Tibbs. Yeah, dude. I mean, that's, again, are they going to be something? That's going to be something that we can talk about on Passion for the Pastime in a couple of years. But you guys have a good one. I hope you guys enjoyed this episode of the podcast. It was a lot of fun. We'll continue to do the podcast tomorrow. I'll have Greg Silver on to talk some basketball, talk some baseball with me as well. It's going to be a fun time. So you guys have a good one. Hope you enjoyed this episode of the podcast. I'm going to get on out of here and end this show a little bit later than I had anticipated. So we're going to get on out of here, and I'll talk to you guys again tomorrow. Remember, before I get on out of here, if you guys are listening to the podcast, go ahead and send me an email with the screenshot that you are subscribed to the channel to enter for a chance to win 2 tickets to go see the Giants during the regular season. Send that to the email passionforthepastime@gmail.com. Once I get the submissions in by the 19th, that'll be the deadline. 19th at the end of that show, we will do the giveaway on the 20th, February 20th. We'll do the giveaway for the 2 tickets, but make sure to put in your submission. Remember the screenshot, send an email, give me your name and last initial to passionforthepastime@gmail.com. So you guys have a good one. Be safe. I'll talk to you then, and be back again tomorrow, 6 o'clock with Greg Silver. We'll talk some basketball, NBA trade deadline, but we'll also talk some Giants baseball and put them up to speed. We'll give them some pop quizzes, let them know about some Giants baseball. So you guys have a good one. Be safe, and I'll talk to you tomorrow.